Today we will talk about the Incorporation Doctrine. To begin, let's talk a little bit about the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees many important civil liberties and rights. However, originally, the Bill of Rights only applied to the national government, not the states. Remember that Madison wrote the Bill of Rights to address the concerns of the Anti-Federalists. The Anti-Federalists feared that without a Bill of Rights, the national government would abuse its power and become tyrannical. The Anti-Federalists were not concerned about limiting the power of the states because they trusted their state governments.
This idea about the original intent of the Bill of Rights was confirmed by Barron v. Baltimore, 1833, which established the precedent that the Bill of Rights did not apply to the states. At first, people viewed Barron v. Baltimore as a victory for states' rights.
But over time, people realized that since the Bill of Rights only restricted the national government's power, states could pass laws that violated the protections listed in the Bill of Rights. For example, Southern states passed laws suppressing anti-slavery speech and press, a clear violation of the First Amendment.
So, after the Civil War, Congress passed the 14th Amendment, one of the Reconstruction Amendments, which extended liberties and rights granted by the Bill of Rights to former slaves. The Union forced former Confederate states to ratify this amendment in order to regain representation in Congress.
Over the years, the Supreme Court has used the 14th Amendment to extend large portions of the Bill of Rights to the states. In other words, the Supreme Court has incorporated many sections of the Bill of Rights, specifically using the doctrine of selective incorporation, the idea that the Supreme Court must apply the protections of the Bill of Rights to the states on a case-by-case, piece-by-piece basis.
How has the Supreme Court used the 14th Amendment to justify the incorporation of portions of the Bill of Rights? They have relied primarily on two main clauses: the Privileges and Immunity Clause, which states that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, and the Due Process Clause, which states, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
The Supreme Court has made two main arguments to justify incorporation. The first argument goes like this: Right X is stated in the Bill of Rights. Right X is a privilege or immunity of citizens of the United States. Therefore, by the 14th Amendment, states cannot make or enforce laws which abridge X. The second kind of argument is that Right X is stated in the Bill of Rights. Right X is a necessary part of due process. Therefore, by the 14th Amendment, states cannot abridge Right X, for doing so would deprive people of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
The 14th Amendment has had a huge impact on our government and society. Specifically, the 14th Amendment has allowed the Supreme Court to apply almost all of the Bill of Rights to the states. As a result, the 14th Amendment has often been considered the most important amendment.
For our AP NSL project, we focused on researching and understanding the court cases that incorporated the First Amendment in particular. To learn more about these interesting and important court cases, please check out our infographic.